Hello, everyone. This is Rob once again with Media Awareness and another possibly controversial video. If you like my content or if you're familiar with me, please consider clicking the like button and commenting below. Also, feel free to share this with a friend or anyone that you think might be interested in my content. I have a plethora of videos to choose from. You're welcome to browse my channel and see what might spark your interest particularly. Also, consider checking out my Facebook link. You can contact me there personally and discreetly if you desire. If you don't want your comments shared in public, you're more than welcome to do so. I do check my spam folder daily, so if your message does happen to get filtered, I will see it and respond to you personally. Also, I do have a Patreon link. It is almost up and running. You can view the perks that are available currently, and that will be available once it is active. Additionally, I'll be adding more perks to that, so do consider that as well. Also, if you wouldn't mind, consider becoming a subscriber. I'd love to have you as part of my YouTube family. It's ever growing, and the more it grows, the more videos I will do. So, what is Cruise to the Edge? You might be asking yourself. Cruise to the Edge is a progressive rock extravaganza at sea, where you, the fans, are treated to many of the acts that you have grown up listening to or have been listening to recently. You have classic progressive rock bands with contemporary progressive rock bands, all mixed together on one cruise. And my understanding is there are certain members of certain bands that will do meet and greets, that will just hang out and be amongst the average folks, so to speak. And it's a cool experience from what I've been told. I haven't actually experienced it, but I have seen a lot of these bands live. I have seen Steve Hackett live. I have seen Flying Colors live. And there are just so many great acts here, and there's more to be announced. And that leads me to believe that Transatlantic, one of my favorite progressive rock bands, may also be announced, as the members will already be there from their other respective bands. So it is a possibility that that might be a last minute announcement to get the fans really psyched. However, the reason this is an issue, the poster, I'm going to show it here in a moment, looks strikingly similar to the During Escape album cover, and you'll see that similarity right now. Here's Cruise to the Edge. Here is During Escape. Now, as you can tell, the posters are not, well, the artwork is, I should say, is not identical. The color scheme is a bit too similar, and I think that Cruise to the Edge could have chosen a different color scheme. However, I think they chose what they did because it really pops and it really gets the eye's attention, as does During Escape. So, right now, this is a sort of thing that's problematic for Neil Sean of Journey, and of course we all know who Journey is. Um, and I could see why it would bother him, but I don't feel it's a direct ripoff. And if you look at the output of many of these progressive rock acts, you'll see a lot of space imagery, otherworldly imagery, and a lot of it is very artistically phenomenal, actually. It's stuff that you could frame. So they're not just the average album covers, they are, for all intents and purposes, works of art that we have in our CD collection. Those of us who still buy CDs, like myself. So I I can see Neil's point, but I can also see why Cruise to the Edge decided to go with the designs they did, representing these different spaceships coming out of this world. And I think it's more symbolic of our era right now, coming out of a global pandemic and uniting for the purposes of music. That's kind of what I think it is. Because at the end of the day, politics aside, our artistic similarities aside, it's time to just stop all the controversy and stop all the bickering and just enjoy the music. I've been a Journey fan since the 1980s, and I love everything they've done. Some things more than others, more of the recent material actually more than some of the older material, but the album covers have always been very artistically vibrant for Journey for the most part, at least to some degree. Escape, Trial by Fire, even Raised on Radio is a great painting. I believe it was done by Prairie Prince of the Tubes. And it's really, the artwork is just phenomenal. And you look at that, and you look at some of the artwork for these progressive rock bands and more contemporary progressive rock bands, and you see a lot of spaceships, a lot of planets, a lot of otherworldly environments, especially if you're getting the Roger Dean territory. The Flower Kings, who I had the privilege of meeting on a couple of occasions and hanging out with, are also scheduled to be on tour on Cruise to the Edge as well. And they've had some space imagery in both their album titles as well as their album art. So then another one, Transatlantic, who had not been announced, but who I suspect will be a last minute announcement. I think they're holding off on that at the moment, but it is entirely possible. They were not able to really tour for their last album, The Absolute Universe, available actually in two forms, a unabridged format and an abridged format, both of which are drastically different. So the question is the artwork too similar? I don't think so. I think it's it's similar, and it might get people to think about Journey and to think about Journey Escape specifically. And if it does, who knows? Maybe that might inc- incline these individuals to go out and revisit Journey Escape. You don't know. It's one of those things that is sort of unknown territory. And I don't think that progressive rock fans are really going to shun Journey, or Journey fans are really going to shun progressive rock fans. I myself am a fan of both. I have always loved progressive rock, I've always loved Journey. Journey is very much in the style of AOR music. I myself stumbled into progressive rock. I listened to it when I was a child, kind of forgot it existed, and then stumbled back across it in the early 90s. And sort of went on this progressive rock journey, discovering all these bands that I didn't know existed, but that were phenomenal in my opinion. So I had the opportunity to see, as I mentioned, Flower Kings. I had the opportunity to see Flying Colors and Steve Hackett, and they're all fantastic. And there's more to be announced. It's hard not to think about how amazing this cruise to the edge this 2023 is going to be, and to separate that from the artwork similarities of the Escape album from Journey, and how it may or may not be too closely uh, bordering on plagiarism to some degree. I don't think that's the case though. I think that the Cruise to the Edge is representative of all these bands just sort of journeying out into the unknown. That's how I see the poster. Making this exodus from a world that we have been confined to for the most part since 2020. And I think it's a great poster to showcase that aspect of things, of this sort of evacuation of the known world for the unknown. And if you look at any of these bands' album covers, for the most part, they're most most of these bands have very space oriented album work or artwork, and it's hard to escape that when you get into progressive rock or melodic rock for that matter, which Journey is typically classified as well. So it's a quandary, and it's one that can't really be well defined. It's all up to the individual whether or not you think it's too close, or if it's not. So I've said my piece on this matter. I hope to hear from any of you with your comments, your outlooks on this topic. I'd love to know your thoughts, and I'll be glad to expand on this more in a later video if requested. This is Rob with Media Awareness. Please be sure to click the like button, click the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload something new, and also check out the links in the description below. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.